Hello, my wonderful Facebook family and friends. How are you? Your girl Raquel here from yourspiritualrock.com, where I help you get the answers that you seek, helping you being your personal GPS for success, navigating you through the mindsets that might be holding you back, or just giving you some practical things that you can do right now to see some success. Because, who doesn't want instant results? Everybody wants to have some instant results. So today I'm going to be sharing with you what I'm sharing with our Be Limitless membership site that I think will be really helpful. And for those who are not spiritual entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs at all, this actually will help you as well at work. It will help you with your personal life. And it's going to assist you when you're doing maybe some info gathering conversations. So let's get started. Hi Joseph. Yesterday, I started the series with Rocking Your Body Language with our Be Limitless group. And the first thing that I brought to them was that when you walk into a room, you're going to be put into one of four categories: friend, foe, mate, or indifferent. And this is why you can walk powerfully and confidently into any room that you walk in, because most people, when you don't know them, they're going to put you in the indifferent category immediately anyway. So knowing that, you can walk in with your shoulders back, with your head not too high. People always say, your head high. No, not too high. Because when you have it too high, what are you saying with your body language? I'm better than you. When you can see someone's nostrils, and sometimes you see it in videos, and that can be helped because if they're putting their camera really high, then they're doing this, and you can see their nostrils, and they don't mean to be putting the nose up at you. You know that expression, the nose up at you, right? You know what that means. So knowing that expression, it's really something that we feel in our gut. That's the vibe that we get from someone when they put their nose up at us. So whenever you can, even on camera, try not to be so high that you are putting your nose up on someone, because they might misinterpret what you're trying to say on camera. So when you're with someone, you want to be able to really have them see the bridge of your nose and having your head straight while you're looking at them. That's going to give them the vibe that you respect them and that you're listening to them. So walk into the room confidently, knowing that you do make a difference. And right now, since they don't know you, they're not going to put you in the friend category. That's going to come with other body language things. It's going to come with the way you present yourself, the way you speak. Most of your languaging is going to come through your body language. And the worst thing that you can do is to have a body language that is incongruent with your message, with your brand. So this is why I wanted to bring this out to my Limitless group, and I figured I can give some of the tips here today to help you be a powerful star by rocking these secrets. So as you walk into a room, know that you can walk in confidently, because they're just already finding you indifferent anyway. And then you're there to show them why you're not indifferent and why they should consider you a friend. And remember, people are going to do business with people that they trust. So give them a reason to trust, and you can do a lot of that through your body language. The next thing we talked about, which we talked about today, was about your hand gestures, those jazz hands. So here's a couple secrets that I want you to keep in mind as you are, talking to people. If you're in an information gathering conversation and you're trying to figure out what's really going on, if you're finding that the person starts to scratch their hands or maybe scratch their nose, those are usually indicators that they might be lying, or that they're withholding information from you, or you're asking uncomfortable questions. And the reason for this is that because when someone is lying or trying not to tell the truth or not to reveal everything, your body is automatically then, the capillaries start to enlarge, and that causes an itch. That's just something that happens naturally. You can't change that at all. So if someone knows that an itch is going to cause them to scratch, and the itch is coming because they're withholding information, they may try not to scratch. But if you see someone, I can't do it because I'm, holding up the camera. But if you see someone scratching their hand, start to scratch their nose, start to kind of scratch the back of their neck, that means that they're frustrated. Those are all indicators that something is a little off. So you might want to try to rephrase the question that you just released in order for you to get to the bottom of what you want. The second thing that I brought to my group was the pointer. Doing this a lot in videos or a lot in person, and you're saying. Now everything has its place, right? pointing. You can go and point, oh, this is, over there, this is this way, this is that way. And the pointing can seem very soft because you are directing someone. But when you are pointing at someone, you're coming off very aggressive, and in many cultures, very rude. So, there is a time maybe you want to be a little bit aggressive, you want to dominate, you want to really punctuate what you're saying, and you might want to point. But you definitely don't want to do that for more than a couple seconds because you're going to come off super aggressive, and no one's going to want to do business with someone that they don't trust. And being that dominating, you come off as a dictator. That's a dictator move. This is a dictator, right? If you're a parent, go and do what I said. Go to your room. Go take out the garbage. All those things, right? And what happens when you're getting pointed at and you're being given instruction? You don't like it because people don't like to be told what to do. And you're pointing at them, then like this, how do you feel? I'm coming off as aggressive. Even if I'm smiling, I'm coming off as aggressive because your gut is saying, ew. So use it sparingly. There is a time and place to point. Just be wise with it. The next thing I wanted to bring to you as a really great secret is to use the steeple. So the steeple is, and I can't do it, so it's like, if you have your hands interlaced, right? So I wish I would have thought this through. I would have brought something to put my camera up. So, it's like I'm seeing things. I'm sorry. So if this is in another social media platform, I'm seeing people come in, Howard and Jeff and Dan, thanks you so much for being here and hanging out with me. But then I can't see what I'm doing because all the comments and stuff are coming up. In any event, so you're doing a steeple, right? Your hands are together, so it makes a steeple. Do the steeple for all the people, and then people will like you. So what do you do for that? It's a softer way of making a point, of showing authority, of showing power, of showing that you're serious. So you can have your hands, let's say you're talking to someone and you're at the table. In order for you to come off, with authority, with power, with being confident in what you're saying, you go ahead and interlace your hands. Put your forearms on the desk, interlace your hands. That is a really great position for you to come off confident in what you're saying. And then when you want to really drive a point up, then you can put, so if your hands are like this, they're interlaced, and then you go, you make a steeple and you kind of point, soft point, and then back to the interlace. Now you don't want to do that position for more than a few seconds. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you release it, and this is the same thing with the dictator move, the pointing, is because then if you do it too often, if you do it too much, if you do it too long, then the body language, the languaging that you're coming across is that you're very aggressive and now you're dominating, versus trying to make a point to make sure that the person is understanding what you're saying, or the person is really receiving what you have to say. And at the point where you are putting up the steeple, in order for them to let them know that you're serious about what you're saying, they can receive that. Now, a lot of these things we pick up intuitively because we're wired for this information. So it's important for you to understand some body language things in order for you to connect with people, because the point of communication is to not only understand, but to be understood. And as entrepreneurs, we want to be understood. We want people to understand that we are the answer that they're seeking, that we have the goods for them, that what we have is a good thing, and that they can trust us by doing business with us. So because most of the communication styles are going to come out through your body language, it is something that you should really take seriously. So that's the steeple. The other thing is, if you're not sure if someone, how they're feeling about you, or if maybe you think, well, maybe they don't understand, or they're frustrated, they will do a couple things. Like I said, they might, put their hand on their neck if they're confused or frustrated. Another thing that happens too is that when someone is in this anxious state, their body temperature might drop, because that's just something that your body does. And so it'll drop, you'll feel cold, and you'll see them kind of like give themselves a hug, and kind of rub. So they're doing a couple things. They're self-soothing by doing this, right? Or like doing this because they feel a little cold. So they might end up, crossing their arms. And they're not crossing their arms because they're cutting you off. They're crossing their arms because they're trying to feel more comfortable. They're trying to self-soothe. They're trying to warm up because their body temperature dropped. So look for these signals when you're speaking to someone face-to-face, or if you're doing a webinar, you're doing a web conference, and you can see their body language. pay attention to what they're doing in order for you to be able to effectively communicate your message, because that's the point, right? So that's the other thing I wanted to bring to you. The last thing I want to bring to you is that another self-soothing thing that people do is kind of they wring their hands, right? So they're like, I can't do it because I only have one hand. But, you know, they're like, start touching their hand. Maybe they're rubbing their thumb. Maybe they're, you know, they're wringing their hands softly in a way when they're talking to you. Now, some people are kinetic, so they're just, they need to actively do something in order to pay attention. So it's not going to work. This is not going to be everyone, but for the most part, if you're watching someone who, you know, if you're seeing them do that, then one, they could be a kinetic person. So they're probably going to be the kind of person that if you're going to show them how to do something at work, they really need to do it, you know, physically do it with you versus you telling them what to do or you showing them what to do visually. They need to be hands-on. So that's one cue, that if you're in management and you're trying to figure out how can I communicate this training to this employee, they don't seem to get it, look for some physical cues and how they learn. So if they're not a kinetic person, they will self-soothe. People tend to self-soothe. Something, you know, before when you were younger, you might have run to your parents or your sibling or someone you trusted when you needed to be soothed, but now that you're an adult, you can't call your mom, right? In the middle of a conversation. You're not going to run to your sister or to your big brother. So you will do something that is automatic and self-soothe yourself by maybe like wringing your hands or even like, you know, hugging yourself, right? So look for these visual cues that people are telling you. They're telling you. So pay attention to the physical things that people are doing without them even realize that they're doing it. Again, communication is about understanding and being understood. So if you want to be understood as an entrepreneur, if you want to be understood in your relationships, if you want to be understood by your spouse, by your kids, by those that you are, you know, coming in contact with, then it's really your job to do the studying and then use those tools. Another thing that I was doing right now is like open hand. That's the last thing actually. So it's an open hand thing. So what you want to do is, you know, if you want people to kind of be comfortable with you, and if you're a person who likes to use their hands too, it's a really great gesture, you know. So you're doing this, you're opening your hand. It's an open hand thing. You know, it's like what they call some people call the beggar's gesture, right? Because you're like, you know, can you help me? So it's very soft and you're opening up your hand. You know, if you're doing one of these things, like, you know, like you're talking about inclusivity and you make that physical gesture, they're like, yeah, I get it. You know, you're including me in this. When you're talking about inclusivity, if you want people to do some teamwork, if you want them to know that when they join your company, your MLM, that it's really a team, you know, that phrase, that teamwork makes the dream work, then you want to use those kind of visual cues and communicate that without always having to communicate that verbally. You want to make sure that your body language is congruent with your message, because if it's not, then you might be wondering, why am I not closing? Why is it that I can get people to hear me, but then I can't close them? Could it be that your communicative style and your body language is incongruent with your message, and so now you're giving them mixed signals? It's mixed signals. You're giving them two sets of information. You're saying one thing that sounds really good with your mouth, but then your body is not aligned to it, or vice versa. So right now we're talking about body language, because more than half of what you're communicating with someone is the way you communicate with your body. So these are just some powerful ways that you can start using right now. You can start utilizing it right now. You can start actually studying people as you're speaking to them to see what are they doing when you're speaking to them. How is their body reacting to what you're saying? Pay attention. The more you can pay attention to what their body is saying, the more you can then switch your style of communication in order for them to understand you. Again, you're the one who wants to be understood. You're the one who wants them on your team. You're the one who has the goods. You have the goods. You have the services that is good for them, that's going to make a difference in their lives, difference in their relationships, difference in their business. So start to be congruent with your body and what you're saying. I hope this was helpful. If you would like more about our Be Limitless membership, it is only $1 to join. You can check it out for a couple days. And then after that is $14.99 a month, where I'm going to continue to teach on this subject of body language secrets in order for you to be able to be understood and close those sales, because we're always selling. We sell ourselves to our spouses, to our friends, to our coworkers, to our bosses. We're always selling our ideas. We're selling what we think is right. We're selling what we think is good. We're selling what we think is pure and perfect. And so if you understand that, then you understand that you constantly have to do some kind of personal development in order for you to be able to have a high rate of closing. I will see you next time on one of these lives. Hope you found this helpful. And if there's anything else that you would like to learn, let me know below or send me a direct message. I would love to sow into your life by bringing you some quick things that you can use pretty much instantly. Because who doesn't love instant results? I'll see you guys soon. Bye now.